so easily, and Shakur is just not on Tank's level. Why is Tank worried about how much money this fight generates so bad? But every other fight, Tank didn't give a damn.
Who have Shakur? What have Shakur done? What have he done in the sport? He haven't done nothing. The young one is looking more better than him.
Shakur reacts to Gervonta Davis' question about what he has done in the sport of boxing. As Shakur Stevenson, that's all I could do, gang. Laugh at this goofy shit. I mean, what has he done? Tank not lying, though. Tank wants to fight.
Gervonta Davis recently responded to Shakur Stevenson during a press conference by downplaying the idea that Stevenson is a major threat, questioning his achievements and arguing that he has not done enough to be considered a top-level challenger, while also criticizing his defensive approach by saying it lacks the offensive strength required to succeed at the highest level, and even suggesting that younger fighters, such as Keyshawn Davis, show more complete skills. And while promoting his upcoming fight against Lamont Roach Jr., Davis addressed rumors about a possible matchup with Stevenson by making it clear he never committed to that fight and emphasized that his focus remains on his current path and opponents rather than outside pressure, expressing frustration over constant questions about Stevenson and explaining that arranging such a fight is not solely his decision, while also pointing out that media and fans often push narratives that do not reflect a fighter's immediate plans, with this response coming as Stevenson continues to publicly show confidence about a future clash and present it as inevitable, while Davis maintained that Stevenson's defensive style and limited offensive output may not result in an exciting contest.
Espinoza said Shakur turned down a one-fight deal to fight you because he wanted a multi-fight deal. What's your thoughts on that?
He's not worth that. He's not worth it. He's not even worth it. Like, come on,
Anyways,
Bam gotta fight somewhere else and prove himself. Then, like, you feel me? You know how they got UFC and like the underground shit? He gotta fight in the underground shit. Then get that.
So you gotta go to the G League.
Do you have an idea what your walkout fee might be?
Gervonta Davis is currently facing questions about whether he is ready to step in the ring with Shakur Stevenson, as his trainer Calvin Ford suggested that Davis may not yet be fully prepared to deal with Stevenson's high-level defensive skills, which has intensified debate about whether Davis is hesitant to take the fight due to Stevenson's technical ability that many believe stands above other elite fighters. While Stevenson's style, often associated with a long history of defensively strong African-American boxers, adds another layer of difficulty to the matchup. And beyond stylistic concerns, Davis has also dealt with challenges related to maintaining weight in the lighter divisions, having stated that he feels most comfortable around 135 pounds and showing reluctance toward moving up in weight, meaning strict discipline in diet and conditioning remains essential if he wants to stay competitive at lightweight, especially against an opponent like Stevenson. And financial factors have also entered the discussion, as Davis has indicated the fight may not provide enough incentive, which has led to criticism from some observers who believe he could be prioritizing bigger paydays over high-risk competition, ultimately fueling ongoing claims from critics that he may be avoiding a showdown with Stevenson.
So Gervonta Tank Davis has ducked Shakur Stevenson, my friends. The man y'all call soul trash. He's such a runner. He doesn't even deserve to be next to Tank. Gervonta Tank Davis isn't going to fight him. Why? Because he's a duck. I said this multiple times. Tank isn't ready for this fight at this point in his career. Y'all didn't listen to me. Let's listen to Calvin Ford, Gervonta Tank Davis head trainer.
They keep saying Shakur is the biggest fighter. No, he's not. You understand what I'm saying? Because in history, going back over that Fuller days, when he fought an African American fighter, the money don't generate. We're just saying two of the hottest fighters in the world fought against each other. They couldn't even outdo.
Gervonta Davis, a former champion across 3 divisions, has secured multiple world titles and is ranked number 10 on ESPN's pound for pound list, while also holding the number 3 position in the lightweight rankings, having first captured the IBF junior lightweight title in 2017 with a win over Jose Pedraza before claiming the WBA version of that title in 2018 against Jesus Cuellar, then moving up in 2019 to win the WBA lightweight belt by stopping Yuri Ortiz Gamboa, and later in 2021, earning the WBA junior welterweight title, with a decision victory over Isaac Cruz before defending it successfully against Frank Martin. And amid rising discussion about a possible fight with Shakur Stevenson, his trainer Calvin Ford addressed why the matchup has not materialized by pointing to weight differences and timing as major obstacles, explaining that Davis has competed across divisions and is currently operating below the lightweight limit where Stevenson is active, while also noting that recent fights and existing commitments make immediate negotiations difficult. And he further stated that although Stevenson is highly skilled, he has not yet reached the level of market demand needed to turn the fight into a major event, emphasizing that both fighters must bring the right value and timing to the table, ultimately maintaining that Davis is not avoiding the bout, but instead focusing on managing his career path and physical readiness, while suggesting that such a clash would require the right conditions to happen at the peak moment for both fighters.
Sorry to break the news. Your guys, Tank Davis, your savior, is going back to fighting flat-footed Mexicans who have no defensive responsibility. And he said African-American fighters don't sell. Your last fight was against Frank Martin, who's black. So now being black matters, but then it didn't. Just say it. You're not fucking ready for Shakur. Say it. Calvin Ford has said this on several different occasions. Shakur is too hard. We're kind of not ready for Shakur. We're not looking at...
Gervonta Davis has recently shifted focus toward Shakur Stevenson, igniting widespread discussion across the boxing world by openly challenging Stevenson's skill set and overall style. As Davis, known for his confidence and outspoken nature, has not held back in sharing his views on a fighter widely recognized for his technical excellence, with Davis criticizing Stevenson's approach as too cautious and not engaging enough for fans, despite Stevenson being praised for his elite defense, sharp counter-punching, and strategic intelligence. While Davis insists that such a style lacks the aggression and explosive power required to dominate in the lightweight division. And as a fighter known for his knockout ability and exciting performances, Davis continues to highlight his own capacity to produce action-filled bouts and decisive finishes, adding further intensity to the growing rivalry between the two, as Stevenson, who remains undefeated and a multi-division world champion, recently reinforced his status with an impressive performance in his lightweight debut, while Davis continues to build on his success as a champion across multiple weight classes, making a potential matchup highly appealing for fans and analysts alike, with many pointing out that their contrasting styles could create a compelling contest, as Davis relies on power and pressure, while Stevenson's composed and calculated method could present a serious challenge. And with both fighters undefeated, the stakes and anticipation continue to rise, leaving uncertainty about whether this rivalry will lead to an official bout. But Davis's comments have undoubtedly increased excitement around what could become one of the biggest fights in modern boxing.
Tank could just beat him so easily, and Shakur is just not on Tank's level. Why is Tank worried about how much money this fight generates so bad? But every other fight, Tank didn't give a damn. He laced up with anybody. If Shakur is such a trash can who only runs, has no chin, has no power, why isn't the fight happening? Why aren't the deals signed? Why aren't the contracts on the table? Because Gervonta Tank Davis knows he can't beat him, and he will not beat him. What's going to happen is Tank is going to make as much money and build as much hype around his name before he steps in there with Shakur and takes that first loss of his career. If Tank wants to fight somebody who's not black, who are you going to fight that's going to generate more money?
Gervonta Davis recently drew attention during an interview when he appeared irritated after the host praised Shakur Stevenson, with the compliments about Stevenson's abilities prompting Davis to dismiss the praise as exaggerated, questioning why so many people rate Stevenson so highly, and stating that while he may have solid technical skills, he does not view him as exceptional, bluntly describing him as just average and showing little regard for the reputation of the undefeated multi-division champion. While Davis's doubts center on a common concern regarding defensive fighters, as he questioned how Stevenson would respond once he is hit, implying that he may struggle against the kind of power Davis brings. As known for his knockout strength and aggressive approach, Davis thrives in intense moments where an opponent's durability is tested, and he appears to believe Stevenson's defensive style would not hold up against constant pressure. And these remarks have sparked strong reactions, among fans and analysts, with some viewing them as a confidence-driven psychological tactic aimed at unsettling Stevenson, while others argue Davis may be underestimating Stevenson's composure, ring intelligence, and adaptability, as Stevenson has consistently shown the ability to avoid danger while controlling fights with precision and strategy, qualities that have established him as one of boxing's most skilled fighters. And as the rivalry continues to build public interest in a potential fight, keeps growing, with many seeing it as a compelling contrast between Davis's power and aggression and Stevenson's technical finesse, with his latest comments further intensifying anticipation for what could become a defining matchup in the lightweight division.
Your 135 contemporaries have a lot to say these days. Shakur Stevenson, well, of course he's now 135 after all that stuff, and then Devin Haney.
Right, so why people even talk like he the best at, he didn't even fight at 135 yet.
Right.
He didn't even have power at 126, 30, or none of that.
He is good.
Okay. How can you, all that's just okay. How can you stop people that can actually hit? No matter all that boxing, you going to get hit. What you want to do?
Gervonta Davis once again sparked debate after downplaying the reputation of Shakur Stevenson and even suggesting that Keyshawn Davis, a close associate of Stevenson and rising contender, appears more impressive inside the ring, with the remarks coming when Davis was asked about claims that he is avoiding a fight, as instead of responding defensively, he shifted the focus by questioning Stevenson's achievements and arguing that the attention surrounding him is exaggerated, adding that Keyshawn looks better than Shakur, a comment that is likely to generate strong reactions given Stevenson's standing as a multi-division world champion and one of the most technically refined fighters in the sport today.
Before you go? For what? Who have Shakur? What have Shakur done? What have he done in the sport? He haven't done nothing. The young one is looking more better than him. The Keyshawn looking way more better than this nigga. I keep screaming this nigga name. He haven't done nothing. Keyshawn haven't even done nothing.
So what do you say to those who say that
y'all
he might
keep
be
saying his
afraid?
name for?
So what do you say to those?
Gervonta Davis recently generated controversy after questioning what Shakur Stevenson has contributed to boxing. Comments that quickly drew criticism from fans and analysts who argued that Davis himself has not done enough to justify such claims, with critics acknowledging his talent and success as a multi-division champion, but suggesting he has often prioritized high-earning fights over legacy-defining challenges, leading to a perception that financial rewards have taken precedence over facing the most demanding opponents available. And while Davis has achieved notable accomplishments, including titles across 3 weight classes and several knockout victories, some believe many of his matchups were chosen more for their commercial appeal than competitive difficulty, a view that has fueled debate about whether he is in a position to question Stevenson, who is widely respected for his technical ability and willingness to face emerging contenders.